So I'd like to welcome Mark Smithson, the Country Director for the UK's Department for Business and Trade in Nigeria. With extensive experience leading trade and investment initiatives across Europe, the US, and Asia, Mark has been instrumental in driving high-value investments into the UK and supporting businesses expanding into and out of Nigeria. Please come on, Mark. And finally, we have Frank Eggmann, Consul-General of Switzerland in Lagos. With a career spanning Africa, Asia, the Middle East, and Europe, Frank has been at the forefront of international business diplomacy, helping companies navigate complex trade landscapes and forge strong economic ties across borders. So I'd like to start with you, Mark. So the UK has really demonstrated excellence around innovation. A lot of the unicorns in Europe, about 150, are from the UK, and 40% of those were created in the last 3 years. And I believe you're on track to have another 200 unicorns in the near future. Can you share some of the learnings from your market in terms of how you've been able to foster an environment of rapid innovation and growth?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity, first and foremost, to be here today. I think when it comes to the tech digital ecosystem, the UK really is a success story. And back in 2022, we were one of 3 countries to reach a valuation for our tech ecosystem of $1 trillion. But this is no coincidence, and this doesn't happen overnight. There's a lot of different elements that have to come into play for this to happen. In the UK, we've been very fortunate that for many years now, driving inward investment into the UK has been a bipartisan priority. So it doesn't really matter who's in government. Both leading political parties in the UK have always strived to lay down the foundations of a business environment that is attractive to inward investments. And in addition to that, we also happen to have 4 of the top 10 universities in the world, so there's a constant stream of talent. But beyond all of that, we've worked very hard to develop the necessary tax incentives, R&D credits, and supporting mechanisms to attract the largest venture capital firms into the UK and to attract talent from all over the world. So as you rightly pointed out, I think it's close to 60% of the 150 unicorns in the UK were co-founded by people that were from outside the UK, which I think speaks about our greatest strength, which is the diversity and the many individuals from all over the world that find in places like London home and where their IP can prosper and develop. So I would say that that this is an effort over many, many years. It takes, I think, a long-term vision to deliver this, and it takes a whole-of-government approach. And we identified very early on that digital was a clear and very important driver for economic growth. So we're very excited about the prospects of all the new unicorns that are coming on stage, but also all the many fantastic Nigerian tech firms that we're working with, many of whom have decided to establish a presence in the UK as well, to tap into the deep pools of capital and raise capital, scale up, and become international unicorns themselves as well.
Fantastic. And you talk about some of the Nigerian businesses that are setting up shop in the UK. I'll come back to you on that to just talk more about collaborations. And you talked about talent, attracting talent from around the world, encouraging investment, because we know that there's a lot of opportunity on the continent. And in the last decade, we've produced 12 unicorns that we're very proud of, but that's 12 in a region of 1.3 billion people. So there's a lot of headroom for growth, and it's important that we have these conversations and look at, what we can learn and how we can collaborate to ensure that we expand that. I'll come to you now, Frank. So with the Global Innovation Index, Switzerland has been rated the most innovative country in the world for the 14th time. So for 14 consecutive years, Switzerland has been ranked the most innovative country in the world. That's not a small feat. What's the secret sauce? What is it about the environment that is really inspiring such innovation?
Maybe I'll start first. It's the courage to jump into an English conversation after such a brilliant English flow, and our American colleague from a country that speaks French, German, Italian, and Romansh. So here I excuse my English if sometimes I have difficulties. Now, why is Switzerland such an innovative country? Actually, the JAPA movement started in Switzerland. Yes, you stole it from us. Now, because in the 19th century, end of the 19th century and 20th century, a lot of Swiss people left Switzerland because it was such a poor country of farmers. We are a landlocked country, we don't have natural resources. And then to scale up and become what Switzerland has become nowadays, it needed movement, and it needed JAPA, because when you have JAPA, you have then DDI, diaspora direct investment, that return to the country. People go and learn some skills, and they come back. So that courage was part of the mix to become innovative. Then you have the fact that Switzerland has been a country with a history of over 700 years, and it has been a stable history, politically as well as economically, and people love when things are stable. We see it now with the Naira, 5 months of stability. Hallelujah, things seems to go in the right direction. No, sorry. I mean, thank you. Yeah, you can raise it.
That's a serious
Swiss companies are delighted. We can start planning. We can start doing budgets. We can start purchasing. There is stability coming in. So that stability in Switzerland is really one of the ingredients for the recipe. And then the other very important pillar is education. That's the basics for every country. Education, education, education. In Switzerland, over 70% of our young people, when they finish school, age 16, more or less, 17, for those that are a bit slower, 70% of those guys go for an apprenticeship, a vocational training. You can choose from over 200 professions: nurse, medical, pharmacist, banking, real estate, carpenter. My plumber in my village drives a Mercedes. I mean, they get good salaries. They are highly skilled. 70% of those guys go to vocational training. I visited a university the first time in my life. I was 40 years old because I did my apprenticeship. I grew up in the system, getting education along the way, and then I got a university title in international relations when I was 40 because I wanted to become somebody in the diplomatic world, voila. And now I'm sitting with important people like Juliet, and I'm very proud of that. So that's the ingredient, basically. Courage, be bold and do it, and when you JAPA, please come back with ideas and money and invest in the country. It's worth it. There is a lot of money here in Lagos, but you have to find it. You have to look for it. And then, of course, education and stability. Honorable Minister, thank you for your efforts for that. We need that, and we see it's going in the right direction. As we always say, Nigeria is a container ship. It takes time to move. It's not a jet ski, isn't it? So Switzerland is maybe a jet ski, we can go faster, but this is a huge economy with a huge potential. It takes time to put things on track, but we're on the right track. Did I answer the question?
Very well, absolutely, thank you. So you're saying that there's a good side to JAPA?
But maybe not to Switzerland, we don't speak English.
So you made some really great points, actually, about political stability, and the point about education is very interesting. And the first time I spoke to Frank about this, I was actually pleasantly surprised when he mentioned the focus on vocational skills, apprenticeship. We take education very seriously in this country and I would say across the region. We prioritize our degrees and all that, but I don't think we give as much attention to vocational training. We used to have technical colleges, but they haven't been sufficiently funded. So that's actually an interesting learning and interesting food for thought. And the fact that your plumber drives a Mercedes-Benz, that shows the weight and the value placed on apprenticeship and these vocational skills. So that's some interesting food for thoughts. Coming back to you, Mark, what are some initiatives that you have to aid and foster collaboration between the UK and Nigeria? And you mentioned already some organizations that have set up shop and are collaborating in various ways. Can you say a little bit more about that space?
Yeah, absolutely, delighted. As I said before, one of the strengths that we have as a country is our diversity, and we're very proud of the very large and sizable Nigerian diaspora, many of whom contribute in very senior positions, both in the private sector as well as government, and many entrepreneurs are of Nigerian origin. So we're very, very keen to continue to attract Nigerian entrepreneurs to the UK. But I hasten to add, this is not about dislocation. This is not about asking Nigerian businesses to uproot from Nigeria and move to the UK. This is about positioning the UK as a springboard for international growth, acknowledging that the UK has those deep pools of capital, has that venture capital ecosystem that can facilitate growth for the many talented Nigerian fintechs. So we supported Kuda Bank, for example, back in 2019. I think Kuda is now on the cusp of reaching unicorn status, hopefully at some point in the near future, so another great Nigerian success. We have other companies like PiggyVest and many others, and we have a dedicated program which we call the Global Entrepreneurs Program. And this is a great program. It's not just for Nigeria, it's for the world over, and it's a Department for Business and Trade program. We have what we call deal makers. So these are professionals that come from industries, some of whom with 20, 30 years experience, having established startups in the UK. They work for us on a contractual basis to support and advise startups. We then put startups that want to be part of the program through a screening process, and those that qualify are fully endorsed. It means that we can then issue them with innovator visas, but we offer them an end-to-end mentoring service to ensure that we set them up for success. Because ultimately what we want is for these companies to succeed, to become unicorns, to create jobs in Nigeria and in the UK, and to become global powerhouses. We will be hearing a lot more in the coming weeks and months about the Global Entrepreneurs Program. We're thinking about doing a big online webinar in May, so I'll be discussing with you and hopefully tapping into your extensive networks to raise awareness for this. But at GITEX as well, hopefully in September, I'm hoping that some of my colleagues can come from the UK as well to engage with the tech ecosystem, engage with all the startups, and have a bit of fun, have a bit of a conversation as to why they should consider the UK as part of their international expansion journey. So lots to celebrate, but lots more that we can do in Nigeria, acknowledging that Nigeria and Lagos in particular is a hotbed of tech and innovation, and that there is a lot of potential here to drive and expand the number of unicorns. So there are 12, I think you said, in total. I would not be surprised if that number doubled in the next few years, because the talent is, without any doubt, present in Nigeria. So hopefully through the Global Entrepreneurs Program, we can support in that endeavor.
Fantastic. Thank you. Yes, please. It's great to hear about the initiatives, and like you rightly said, it's about partnership. And I think the Global Entrepreneurs Program is a great initiative. We would love to share more about that with the ecosystem, and however we can support those initiatives as well. It's an increasingly global world, and for us to really accelerate growth, we need partnerships, we need allyship, and so on. And so that's very welcome. Now, Frank, you've been in Nigeria for 2 years now, and you've interacted quite a bit with the market. What are some of the, when you look broadly, what are some of the challenges and opportunities that you see in this market? And are there some examples, case studies that you've seen around, successful businesses when you think about Nigeria and Swiss?
So basically, when we talk about Swiss companies looking at the Nigerian market, they are a bit reluctant to dive into that huge market because they don't know how to tackle it. Obviously, Lagos is the entry point. We'll never tell them to go there or there. We tell them, first you try in Lagos, and if you succeed in Lagos, don't worry, you will expand very fast. Our main task at the consulate, it's an economic consulate, so don't ask me any questions related to visa, please. That's in Abuja, the embassy, and I'm very happy about it. Now I've lost almost half of the audience, you see. So basically, we tell those companies, we will look for the right partner for your technology, your ID, your product, and we will link you with 3, 4 options. We'll organize the visits to those companies, those startups, and you will work hand in hand with the Nigerian partner. Don't come alone. Come here, we'll identify, that's our role as a consulate, we help for that, and we offer them the options of companies to work with. So this is why I love to meet people, listen to what they do, and then one day or the other, I'll pick up the phone and I call them and say, hey, I would have somebody for you. We are very much engaged also in vocational training here. Our companies, I think you all have something Swiss on you anyway, being it a watch or what you eat in the morning, or even currency, the ink on the currency or your passport is from Switzerland, etc., etc. The World Wide Web was invented in Switzerland, in Geneva, so you use it every day anyway. So basically, and the chocolate, of course. We have half a ton for you at the exit. What did I want to say with that? Yes, vocational training, as I mentioned before, it's something that Swiss companies that are established here use, and we train young people. We have the Nestlé factory. Nestlé, you all eat Nestlé. We have Bühler Mills company, and there we train about 100 young people every year. They go through a training of 2 years based on Swiss syllabus, so complicated, qualitatively high, etc., etc. And that is for us knowledge transfer. But we also learn from Nigeria. It's not only what we do, but is what we can take from here. And if I have something that I would like to take from Nigeria the day I will leave, and I will be very sad to leave this great country, is the energy of the people and the opportunities that are at hand. There are zillion opportunities, and this is where we put the finger as a consulate, as a diplomatic mission here for Swiss enterprise to open their eyes to the options and opportunities they have. Challenges, you mentioned them, being it economical or infrastructure or red tape or lack of transparency and other words that I don't even want to mention. We know that, it's part of the game, but the day you start succeeding in Lagos, you will succeed in this great country. So basically, that's about it. Opportunities are here, challenges are here, but go to another country, the challenges will be different and the opportunities will be different as well. So we don't judge, we just try our best, and this is why the Swiss consulate is active in Lagos. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Frank. And you mentioned some businesses when we spoke. You talked about the creative sector, your perspectives on the creative sector in Nigeria, and also some successful Nigeria-Swiss businesses. You want to say a bit more about that?
Oh yeah, thank you for that. I almost forgot. We have in the room one of the founders of a company startup called Arago. Where is Philip? Philip must be over there. Thank you, Philip. You have to talk to this guy because he's going to change the way we move around in Lagos. You're not going to be stuck in your car anymore. You're going to drive a solar LED motorcycle, two-wheelers with swapping batteries. You don't use gasoline anymore. It's going to be solar driven motorbike, and he's in charge. The first models are already cruising through Victoria and Ikoyi. And that was actually a Swiss person that came to Nigeria for family reasons, and he met a Nigerian entrepreneur, and they clicked. It must have been an event like tonight. And they clicked, they discussed their vision, and I think that was maybe 2 years ago, and the first motorcycles are now cruising through Lagos. So this is one of the examples that I could give. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And I'll end with you, Mark. Any last words in terms of your perception of the environment, any opportunities and challenges that you see in this space?
Yeah, so I've been in Nigeria for 9 months, and some people ask me, how does it work? I mean, do they send you places? And I always say, no, I applied for the job. Every job I've had overseas, I've always applied, and it's the way it works. And there's a lot of competition for these jobs, and there's a lot of competition to come to Nigeria, because Nigeria for the UK matters hugely, is a hugely important country for us. It has been for many, many, many years. When talking about some of the firms that have been in Nigeria, Unilever's been here for more than 100 years, for example. But we've got a very rich tapestry of UK businesses here, delivering sustainable energy solutions, digital infrastructure, financial services. We're doing a great deal on the creative industries. I mean, we are firm supporters of what the Nigerian government is doing in relation to the macroeconomic reforms. We think that this is absolutely crucial, and that this is setting Nigeria on the right path to deliver on its tremendous potential that I think everyone acknowledges. So we're bullish about Nigeria. I'm personally very bullish about Nigeria. I'm very bullish especially about services, which is something that the UK does very well, and I think Nigeria does very well as well. I think that bodes really well for a deepening of our bilateral trade relationship. Nigeria is our second largest trading partner in Africa. Our trade is worth £7.5 billion a year, and it's growing. It's 70% of that is services, so we see a lot of opportunities. So I'm enthused by the prospects. I'm enthused by what we're doing through our enhanced trade and investment partnership, which we signed in February last year. The only one we have of its kind in Africa, and only one of two we've signed anywhere in the world, which I think speaks volumes of the importance that the United Kingdom government affords to Nigeria. And back in November, we had our foreign secretary came to Nigeria. There's always a lot of UK ministers coming to Nigeria because it's such an important country. And we signed a strategic partnership, so not just on growth, but also on security, et cetera, et cetera. So, we have close to 500 people working for the UK government in Nigeria. So this relationship is not going to go away. So I'm very optimistic. Yes, there are some challenges, but I think that we're on the right path to addressing some of these challenges. And as I always say, money and business follows the path of least resistance. So the more Nigeria continues to deliver economic reforms, the more businesses will flow to the country. And of course, we're very keen to ensure that businesses in the UK are aware of the growing opportunities, whether it's on creative industries, whether it's on digital, et cetera, et cetera. So I think the future's bright, and we're definitely here for the long run, and we're very keen to continue to support Nigeria, and very keen to deliver mutual trade and deepen opportunities for mutual prosperity for our countries.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mark and Frank. I think we're very aligned in the fact that there's a lot of talent here, there's a lot of opportunity, a lot of headroom for growth. We value your presence and your partnership, and we look forward to ongoing positive collaborations. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Fantastic conversations there, connecting markets and ecosystems. Once again, a round of applause to Frank and Mark, and wonderfully moderated by Dr. Juliet.